Am I disappointed about it? Yeah. I think that you fall in love with something and you picture your family there. And when it doesn't work out, it's challenging. But you also, like, as a Christian, I know, like, that's God's plan. And I'm just, living each day. Hopefully walking with him each day. And so I just praise him that he shows me what's right and what's wrong. And, yeah. It's a little chilly in the basement. It's like, I'm a little chilly actually, just period, because we're outside all morning. And yeah, let's talk about it. So we put in them asking them to do these 3 things. I want to maybe clarify as to, there was some question of like, okay, like that's trash, like that's not God's will. Why do you keep going forward? I think that if you take a step forward, and I explained this in another video, if you take a step forward in faith, then God's going to show you very clearly, very directly, no, you're done, that's it. So something interesting came up, and I'm thinking, I don't want to say there might be a different plan. There might be a different plan for this. But I really sometimes feel that certain things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So anyhow, we put the new offer in, and we were going out to look at a house this morning. So the other day I drove by oodles of houses that were potential listings, and a house just came up in the town that we're living in right now. The town that we're living in right now, the average cost of a house is $700,000, and that's like 2 bed and a bath. So that had not been off of our radar. We're always kind of like, hey, we'll look. Okay, nope. Most of them are like millions of dollars. Most of the people that live in our town are part-time residents now. It used to be totally different. So today we put in a termination for the big home. I know. This is what happened. Still, all along, we've been looking for different properties. And as we're doing this, as we're trying to like take step forwards in that direction, we've also looked at other properties. So we put in this situation, and honestly, the situation, I would hate to be the seller in this situation, because you don't really know the house, but you have to understand, like, you have the paperwork right here. The inspector, they have the full inspection that we paid for, like, done on this home, and you see all of these things done wrong and all of this cost that has to happen. Must be overwhelming. So we went forward and got all these different, we had somebody come out to like doing the basement, doing the beams. There was some serious structural issues going on. So structure, boiler, electrical, 3 things that we felt they needed to address. We would address the other things. So they did not come back and say anything at this point, but it just kind of felt like a house came up in our town. Usually they're gone like this. That was affordable in our price range. So we're like, oh, and it has 4 acres. So I'm like, okay, I asked our realtor, I'm like, can we look at that like tomorrow? And she's like, sure, I'm actually off. And I was like, oh, that is wonderful. So we're like, okay, we went to go look at this house, and we had some discussions about this house, which are kind of exciting. Lots of little things. It's hard for me to like say this because there's so many little things that happened. So yesterday I really had this feeling when I was thinking about houses. Okay, I feel like I have to keep reversing because so much has happened from this whole like spiel. My husband really does not want to move out of state at this point, and he has some grand reasons for this. 2, we feel like we need to put land as a priority over house, which means that we would want, if possible, a bigger lot versus a bigger house. So, knowing all of this, a house came up that was in our price range, that was in a smaller range, but had 4 acres in our town. And we're like, oh, wow, this is really cool. So we kind of were like, let's look at it. Trying to decide how to unfold the story to you. I think I'm going to tell you what they told us. Actually, I got a feeling the other day that God was sharing with me, given like, because I've been doing all this stuff for the food stamps and such, and God was really sharing with me like this is going to be like an intricate part, and that I can always build onto a home, but I can't build onto land. Like I just got this like thing. So I was like, this feeling or this thought or this, yeah. And I was like, that is so true. You can always build onto a house, but you can't get yourself more land. So in that, we both were kind of like, yeah, we really just want to make sure that we have, and I'm not talking about oodles of land. I'm talking about enough to have a large garden and room for the kids to play, because that's our lifestyle. That's our heart. That's our desire. I mean, yeah, I can see it like more and more in all of us in our family, that this is truly like who we are. We need space outside. So I'll tell you what they came back and said, but they did not come back and say this until we saw this house. So we went, we saw the house, we talked to the realtor, we came up with a plan, and she had this plan already. And then she calls me on her way home and she's like, I have to let you know this. And I was like, okay. And she's like, they said they would give you $10,000 to fix all the issues. We're talking about like complete, like, so the quotes for absolutely everything was probably, I mean, if it was to include the stuff that we were doing as well as them, we were asking them to do, it depends. If the boiler was working, then it wouldn't have been that much. If the electrical was working, it wouldn't have been that much, like in those areas, but they needed to be evaluated. So we're asking them to do the structure of the house, which was quoted at $75,000. That's why we knew it was like, yeah, probably not going to happen. So, but there was also like a whole nother piece of things that we would need to take care of, and we said that we would take care of. So they came back and said, we'll give you $10,000. And that almost is like laughable to the extent of the stuff that's wrong with this house. And the whole thing is it's really silly, and I don't think that they're even thinking, because all of these things that we have, all these all these, the contractor comes out, they give it quotes, all these quotes on, all these things that we have all these quotes on, they're gonna have to list these as, hey, our boiler doesn't work. Hey, you know, there's structural problems with the house. So, can you turn the light on? Somebody came down to ask me a question. Some people know where I'm hiding, other people don't. I'm in my basement. So it was almost laughable that they would come back and say, we're not fixing anything. We'll take $10,000 off the house. It was just for us. It was confirmation that this is done. So this is where I feel like situations like that right there, it's clear. God's like, okay, this is done. But we don't know why God used us in this situation. God might have used us in this situation to help out another family so they knew that these things were already wrong. So, we don't know what the situation was or why this was God's plan for our journey, but it was. It also helped grow us as people. It helped us to clarify what we wanted. It also helped us to clarify what was really important. And part of the things that were really important are that we're okay with a smaller house, but we want some land. Some of the things that were really important to us were like, we need something. It's kind of like the Bible says, the wise man built his house upon the rocks. Like, we need something with a solid foundation. We need something with a solid foundation for a house, physical house, and spiritual house, right? We need to bring a solid foundation to our family. And so that was, that helped us, right? That helped us on our journey. So I am not opposed. I know some people are like, well, why would you go forward? Why would you do whatever? And it doesn't bother me, because I'm okay to take one step in front of another until God completely shuts those doors, so that I can have, as long as I have a teachable spirit, then I'm able to learn. And that's how we learn. We learn by making mistakes. We learn and grow by taking chances. So I encourage you guys, have a teachable spirit, because if you're not teachable and you're always right and you always know the solution to the problem, then you're not teachable. Then you're losing out. Okay, so that's for that house. Signed the papers for us to terminate. Also, today is the day that would be our last day to get our earnest deposit back. So it's like, so we did the termination type thing. She's working on paperwork so I can get the earnest deposit back. Meanwhile, we looked at this house. We had a house today and a house tomorrow. The one tomorrow is in New Hampshire. So this house today, we looked at. Me and my husband went with our middle son, and we looked, and at first we got there before the other person. We went to the dump first, and then we got there a little earlier than we thought. It was only like 10 minutes early. And we were able to, from the road, you couldn't really see the full extent of what the backyard looked like. So we got to see the backyard. There was some outbuildings out there, which was lovely. And then they also had it's a 2-car garage with a loft. And so that was open, so we could open that up and see what kind of space that had. And then we went to go to the front door of the house, and the box, and me and my husband had noticed, like, it looks like there was a box next to the house, but then it looked like the one that was on the door handle was open. So we were kind of like, okay, well, maybe like whatever is in the box, like next to it, maybe that's an old one or something. No. So what happened was, I guess the property was shown last night, and the property was shown last night, and the real estate agent for that property put the key in their pocket. So it can happen, but we didn't have a key to get into the house. So then we walked around outside some more and chatted and stuff. It was nice. By this point, we're kind of like really friendly with our real estate agent. She's awesome. I am actually going to ask if I can say her name on here, because I would recommend her to anyone. She is really great. She is just like, yeah, she's a really great person to work with. She definitely wants you to get what you want. You never feel like you're an inconvenience. She actually feels like totally opposite of that. She'll never makes you feel like you're rushed to get through a property. Yeah, so finally, the other realtor that owns, or the seller's person, he came and introduced himself, and he was like, okay, opened it up. He had a key. He opened it up. He was about half an hour away. He opened it up and we got to look at the house. And I really like it. My husband really likes it too, which, yeah, my husband actually liked it before we went in the house, because he's like, oh, I really like this land. Like, I like this setup. I like whatever. I was nervous because it's on a main road, so I was like, I don't know if I'd like to be on the main road. But the whole thing is like it's the same distance from where we are now to Boston Children's, which is definitely like a drivable distance. Yeah, so many good things about it. So looked at the house. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, guys. I know you all you picky people are gonna be like, I can't believe that you would ever think even consider that. There's so much potential, so much potential. There's so many places that we can see. Okay, so like underneath, it is 3-bed. It does have 1 bath. The bathroom's downstairs. There's another room above the bathroom that's a small room that could definitely be made into a 2nd bathroom. Yeah, or probably the structure of it looks really good. Didn't see any visible molds. Actually, my real estate agent commented on that. She's like, I do not see like any mold at all here. The boiler is newer. It's almost like God was like, okay, these are the things that you were looking for, because literally I think we probably spent more time in the basement than in the rest of the house, because we wanted to make sure that the foundation was good. So we were looking at all those things. And because the seller's guy came, he said that they had an issue with the well, so they were like redoing the pump, and turning the boiler and stuff back would be turned back on before, and like inspected and turned back on before, because everything was drained before the person would purchase it. So yeah, we put an offer in. We put a fairly strong offer in. It's been on the market for 3 days now. Where we are, it would be highly unlikely if that house was not sold within a week. Somebody looked at it last night, so we pretty much offered the asking price, and we'll see what God has for us, you know? I mean, maybe the people last night put an offer in at the same time and theirs will be higher. I don't really know. But she's doing that right now. So I need to go and sign some papers. I might give you a couple snippets. I actually videoed more outside than inside. I don't know if I'm going to share those. I wanted to show the kids, like, they're excited about outside. I know that it's going to be challenging for some people, but that's okay. With 1 bath, and if this house works out, I'll share with you how we're going to make it work until we do other things and our future plans for things. That's really key to why we think this house can work. This winter, it's probably going to be challenging, but future, we can do this. Okay, so I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day, and I might share some pics or videos or something at the end of this video. Mm-hmm. just trying to look at the beams because I don't want to get into another headache.
Right. No, I think
No, they look much better.
you put pretty solid.
Yeah, this is fairly new.
And you can tell even they did whatever with the wall there.
Yeah, like they upped it like this.
Yeah. I mean, even here, that's nice and solid there. It's nothing to be.
These actually go side. I don't know. If
Yeah,
it's
that's a
both.
bulkhead. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it gets damp. That's why there's probably these boards here is try to keep the so you're walking not on damp.
This.
What is that Origins thing?
Huh?
Or
Iron or magnesium.
That's not just encouraging the museum to do literally. But this isn't.
okay.
Two,
We got
3, 4. Smaller one. This is reasonable size too.
I don't want to go there by myself.
And there's this little shed.
That's nice. Nice storage. Oh wow, you can't tell from the road. There's quite a bit back here. The front roof doesn't look good, but the back one is a lot better than the front. Probably have to do that in the spring. Yeah.